I think there's a huge opportunity to make the internet fully personalized. Like imagine that a world in which every page you go to renders for me, suggests things for me, something that I never want to leave. And that should grow the pie. So I'm optimistic because of that opportunity.
Joining me at the Speaker's Corner, powered by the New York Stock Exchange, is Adam Singolda. He is the founder and CEO at Taboola. Adam, fantastic to have you here.
Thanks for having me again. You know, we've seen each other before. This is fun.
It's wonderful.
Though Miami is maybe a little bit more fun.
It's different in Miami for sure.
It's nice.
So, Adam, tell me, what excites you most about being at Possible this year?
I was here last year and I came back excited. It's bigger, let me tell you, more people. But it's just about being with many people I want to meet in a fairly intimate setting. You know, we're in our cabana. We're getting a moment to just talk about things we care about, and it's close to home and it's in a fantastic environment. And you know, Kristen has been doing this for a long time, so it's professional and it's buttoned up and all those things that also matter, you know, the experience you have. So I think, you know, the people, the experience, close to home in a fun setting, it makes a difference.
So now let's talk about Taboola. So Taboola is moving beyond bottom of article ads. So what sparked this shift in your strategy?
If you look at over the last 3-4 years, we've done a good job kind of, you know, leading the native advertising space. For those who may not know, that's when you read an article on CNBC or ESPN and it says you may like, and it shows you a feed of recommendations. So that's been great for publishers and great for advertisers. But, you know, with performance advertising becoming such an important part of the industry, the advertising market just crossed the $1 trillion in size. Search and social are kind of maxed out. I mean, it's not, you know, advertisers are feeling there's not much more they can give to them and spend and grow their business. There was an opportunity to build, you know, a wall garden, but outside of the walls, like a company that can be as good as Meta, but in the open web, that serves advertisers beyond just the bottom of article, but rather the entire performance advertising space. So we launched Realize, which essentially says, give us your social creatives, give us your display creatives, tell us what you're trying to achieve, and we got you. You know, and we're gonna find those consumers wherever they may be, and help you drive growth for your business.
So you mentioned performance advertising. What's the opportunity you see and why now?
We estimate it's about $55 billion of opportunity of just going after performance advertising, which is huge. 30 billion of the 55 is actually in social. So if you talk to advertisers, the experience they have is when they start working with social companies, a lot of times the beginning, it's good. They're getting good performance. You're a pizza shop, you have a commerce business. The beginning, they're getting good results, but then it gets expensive, too expensive. So the last dollar they spend is always they get diminishing returns. It's a waste of money. And if you look at all those dollars that are not driving the value they expect, it's about $30 billion. Now, if we can create an alternative for those marketers and move that $30 billion from social to the open web, one, it's good for advertisers, good for businesses. But two, it means we're sharing revenue back with journalism, with publishers, you know, with the open web, which is, you know, it's so good and so important. God help us if our children will end up making decisions based on social media. I mean, it's good. It's entertaining. But it's very important we have, you know, open web, editorial values, you know, diversity of opinions. We need those things. So I'm excited not only because it's good for business, but also because it's good for the industry in our future.
Now, Adam, this is a competitive space. So how do you stand out?
I think it's very, you know, if you think from the advertiser point of view, search is when someone's searching for something, that's clear. Social is when we're scrolling too much every day across, you know, different platforms. The open web is unique in the sense that it has this curiosity graph. You know, if I care about something, I just moved to New Jersey. I have 3 children. We moved to New Jersey a few years ago, and we wanted to buy a trampoline. Now, what the hell do I know about trampolines? Nothing. Now, it would be embarrassing if I went to Meta and said, anyone knows a good trampoline for me to buy? I wouldn't do that. But I read a lot around, you know, about up-and-coming trampolines, expensive trampolines, affordable trampoline. and I ended up buying one. So that experience, this curiosity graph, when I have intent, because I'm reading about something I care about, I think is unique. It's this authentic version of me when I read about something I care about, and not for the person I wish you thought I am, which is my social media version of myself, but rather the real me. So in that context, advertisers find it very valuable because they can find me when I'm in market reading about stuff they care about.
Now, publishers are facing big changes with AI. What's the biggest opportunity you see for them right now?
I think a few things. One, we publishers, barely adopted AI, if at all. If you go to most homepages on some of the best websites out there, it's still fairly the same. You and I see the same homepage. If you compare that to TikTok, which has done an amazing job, they literally call it For You page, right? That's how personalized TikTok is for you and me. Every single interaction is personalized, it's relevant, it's about me right now. But the open web has yet to catch up on all of those things. So one, I think there's a huge opportunity to make the internet fully personalized. Like imagine that, a world in which every page you go to renders for me, suggests things for me, something that I never want to leave. And that should grow the pie. So I'm optimistic because of that opportunity. And two, I don't think publishers make enough money per user. If I look at how much, Meta makes per user per year versus how much a publisher makes per user per year, the gap is tremendous. So if we can, improve advertising, which we realize we hope to do, we can improve the efficacy of those ads, and consumers can be monetized in a way that's also better for them. I think the pie can be bigger with AI, and the value per user can be greater. So for those reasons, I think we're at the beginning.
Okay, and finally, Adam, there's concern about generative AI search pulling traffic away from publishers. So, how do you see that playing out, and what can they do about it?
I think in many ways we've seen some of it, right? So we've already seen the first wave of Gen AI engines kind of taking traffic away from publishers, which I don't know how it's going to continue panning out because they're not paying enough for that content they take. They're not sending traffic enough. And, being evil is a short-term strategy. So, and history repeats itself. So I don't know how that will evolve. Something is going to have to change, I think, because as of now, publishers are somewhat unhappy, about the situation. However, I think, again, the biggest thing that gives me optimism is that publishers can provide such a better service to their consumers on site as relates to personalization, take advantage of LLM technologies, and things of that nature. So I think we're early days. And maybe now, because of this revolution that's taking place outside of publisher business, we will change. A lot of times we change because we have to change. So maybe now we'll change for the better, and we're there to go up and right.
All right. Well, Adam, fantastic to talk with you.
And I'm your last one.
Yes, you
You
are
see,
the
last
finale.
but not least.
Exactly.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining me.
Bye-bye.